Bonjour and welcome to a new unboxing video, and today I'm particularly excited by what I've received because it's something I've been waiting for a very long time. That was ordered back in 2021 and that was back in August for some of those. Basically it's Mego figures. Yes, I know, I mean Mego, of course I'm excited by Mego, but those are very special Mego figures because you can't find them in the shops. Literally what happened is that Topps, the trading card company, you know, the sports card and all those things, and Mego actually got into a partnership to actually have a limited release, a bit like a crowdfunding, a bit Kickstarter like, and you would basically have a 1 week window to pre-order some figures and then they would be made to order. So basically if you didn't order at the time, you wouldn't get the figures. And they were all right, well, nearly all. I'm still missing 2 of them. And so we're having really a Mego mega haul of Topps Mego figures, and it's extremely exciting. So we won't be opening all of them because I mean it would be like a 30 or 40 minutes video if we did that, but I'm going to show you exactly what's been released, and basically you can actually go up at them and say, oh, they're beautiful, because they actually are. So we'll start with I'm going to try and put them in order of theme, because there were a few themes, and the first one was DC superheroes. So the DC superheroes, they actually did 4 of them for this operation. The first one is Shazam. So they do have a fantastic, because it looks absolutely incredible, fantastic Shazam figure. The sculpt of this Shazam figure is absolutely beautiful, and I mean you can open the flap of the costume. He's got his little cape. He looks absolutely fantastic with his golden booties. It's really great. So here's the back, and of course what's funny that they still have to use the new 52 illustration. So this isn't the Shazam we have here. That's classic Shazam, that's new 52 Shazam, but they basically, that's one of the the style guide that DC Comics gives to licensee. They have to actually use those as illustration. If you were wondering why lots of those DC merchandising had the new 52 looks of the characters, whereas they probably didn't have the new 52 characters in it. So Shazam is the first one, and that was the first one they did in the collection, and it's absolutely beautiful. But of course, if you've got Shazam, you need to have Black Adam. So we do have a Black Adam figure. I'm going to show you the Black Adam figure here. It looks absolutely fantastic. Same thing, he's got his golden booties, and it looks absolutely fantastic. And of course you've got in the back we've got Shazam, who looks, is it like the new 52 version? That's possible. But basically, so we do have Black Adam. So that's the first 2 DC one, and then we've got 2 more, which oddly enough are not, I don't consider them linked, because one is a Batman character and the other one isn't. But you could argue that in the CW Arrowverse TV series they were actually linked, so why not? So we do have villain Ra's al Ghul, basically the demon, you know, is the new Robin's grandfather, Damian Wayne's grandfather. So here is Ra's al Ghul. That's beautiful cape. Really the classic looks. Same thing showing you the back, but really a fantastic figure. I absolutely love the details on the cape. I will have to look at those in more details, but we've got so many, I just won't have the time. And then we do have Green Arrow. So Green Arrow basically has got this little hood. What's interesting is that this Green Arrow face looks like it's the sculpt that they were using in the 1970s. It looks extremely similar, and I'm pretty sure that's the case. So we do have his beautiful costume, and of course he's got a quiver in the back of his costume and arrows. And of course we do have the new 52 version in the back that doesn't look anything like it is. Look, that's more like a Mike Grell longbow hunter look, for those people who know the comics that Green Arrow was in. So here you go. That's another very good figure, and that's all for DC Comics. I'm going to move them about because, as I said, we've got quite a few to review, and I don't have much space, so let's do in order, and then we're going to go horror. So with horror, they did actually two different type of horror figures. They did some what I would call license-free figure, meaning they are actually classic characters, but they may not be covered in a license like Universal Monsters or Hammer Horror or something like that. So they did two generic, I wouldn't even call them generic because they actually don't look that generic, and they've done two figures. The first one is the Grim Reaper. So the Grim Reaper is actually a very cool figure. So he's got this little skull face, and of course he does have yes, he does have it is a fifth size fifth. I never know with English, you know, and it's I'm just French, don't ask me. So here you go, you've got the Grim Reaper, and basically that's the backup. So of the so it's very I wouldn't say basic because he looks actually absolutely fantastic, which, I mean, they could have yes, he's got, you can see his eyes are almost yeah, glittery. I don't know if it's a glittery bit or just white painting, but they looks like they're glittering in the darkness. So that's actually a very cool figure. And we then have a character that could have been a Universal character, but it's not, and it's the Hunchback. You will notice that it's not from Notre Dame, because of course the Hunchback from Notre Dame is a Universal character, whereas the Hunchback is, I would say, more generic. But it's very cool. I mean, it does have an amazing sculpt here. It looks absolutely fantastic. I really love this one. I mean, it's funny because those two were the ones I didn't expect to enjoy that much because they were generic monsters, but they are actually pretty cool. And of course, in the back you do have actually a photo of the prototype figure, which is probably done by Jason Savon, I would suppose, because Jason Savon is the official photographer of Mego, and he's actually very talented actually. So here you go, you've got the Mego monster Hunchback, and that's the generic monsters. Now we've got something that I'm very excited about, because we've got more Hammer character. I mean, you know, we've had Frankenstein, and we've had Van Helsing, we've had the Reptile, we've had Dracula, and there's more coming. The first one is the Mummy. It's the Mummy, as played by Christopher Lee. So that's another great looking figure. I mean, he really looks really, I can't resist. I have to open this one, mostly because I want to show you one thing with this figure, which is they've done, if you remember, at some point you do have the light shining through the character. So here is it. I mean, he looks fantastic. It's the very strange texture, because it looks like the mummy is actually caked in mud. I mean, it's a very stiff fabric that is got, but it looks absolutely fantastic. The sculpt is also very good. I mean, if you want to compare that's basically the muddy kind of look that he's got in the movie. I mean, it's actually pretty good for a toy. And the interesting thing with this one, and I hope I can show that to you, is that it's actually, it's actually transparent. It's got a transparent body, so that, like in the movie, basically the light is showing through him during the movie, so you can actually do the effect. So that's actually a very, very, very cool figure. I'm very happy with that one. So here you go, the mummy, the hammer mummy, and we've got two more hammer characters. One which is probably going to be one of my favorites as well. We do have the Phantom of the Opera, and it definitely is the look of the Phantom of the Opera from Hammer. So we do have Phantom of the Opera here, and he does have his little mask in his hand, and he looks absolutely fantastic. So really, really cool figure again. And then the one that is probably my favorite of the lot, because I never would have expected to have a figure of that, and it's basically the zombie from Plague of the Zombie. When you look at this, it's absolutely amazing. I love that sculpt. It's a fantastic figure, and of course you've got some bits of the movie poster in the back. So that's, we're done with horror. So we're going to get to the next theme. I mean, if you know Mego a bit, you kind of know what to expect anyway, because what else do they have? They've got two major licenses, one that I'm going to keep for the end because it's my favorite, and the other one that lots of people love, and it's Planet of the Apes. Yes, they did some Planet of the Apes figures which are exclusive. So you do have 4 Planet of the Apes figures, and the first one is George Taylor. They did Taylor. Here is the sculpt here. Looks pretty good. So he is in his rag costume, and he's got, of course, the leash and the color like in the movie. So you do have a picture of Charles Niston in the back, and that one is absolutely fantastic. There's, all of them are really cool, but this one, I have to admit, it's really very nice. Then we've got I would say a re-release, because this one has been released with about the same costume, and it's Zira, because we need to have a Zira. So here you go, that's Zira here, and which is really cool. And the last two are the coolest of the 4. We do have Brent, and Brent is wearing his astronaut costume. So here is Brent, a very cool sculpt as well, and a photo in the back. And the last one, which I think is the coolest, because once again it's one of those figures that, nah, they will never do that, but yes, they do. There is a mutant leader. Yes, mutant leader from Planet of the Apes, and he looks absolutely fantastic with his little robes and stuff. So here we go. That's basically 4 more figures, and those this time from Planet of the Apes. And now, last but not least, at least for me, we do have a few more. We do have 4 more figures, even though I'm a bit annoyed because there's only 2 figures I haven't received yet, and one of them was my most wanted figure of the lot. Having said that, those look all fantastic. The first one is a Mr. Spock. So we do have a Mr. Spock here, but don't expect to see Mr. Spock like this, because it's the Star Trek the motion picture version of Spock, and he looks absolutely fantastic. So here you go, we've got the older Spock sculpt that they use for the Wrath of Khan, and he does have his phaser and communicator and the little belt buckle, and he looks absolutely fantastic. So that's the first of the 4. The second one is, well, once again, is fantastic as well. It's the Klingon, the second Klingon in the classic characters, because of course we already had Kang, because they had released Kang, and they now release Core. So, and there is actually something interesting because there are slight differences. They're not exactly the same costume, because for example you will see that the belt has been updated, so it looks more like the belt they had in the TV series, like with the bubble wrap type belt buckle. And also he does have a symbol on his sash, which is absolutely fantastic as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. And well, the sculpt looks really fantastic. I mean, that's John Colicos, and we can actually recognize John Colicos without a problem. So in the back, of course, we do have the picture from the TV series. And then we've got two more, and those two more are from a series they haven't done yet. It's the first two figures of that particular Star Trek series, and we are getting Benjamin Sisko from Deep Space Nine. Very cool. I mean, the sculpt once again is really fantastic, and he's got his phaser and stuff, and he does have a different costume in the back, but that's another story. So here you go, we do have Benjamin Sisko, and the last, and for me, I absolutely love it. Some people may not like it that much, but it's Quark. They actually did a Quark figure, and he really looks very cool. So I do like Quark a fair bit. So here you go. And the two that I'm missing, sadly, because they haven't arrived yet, but I'm sure they will arrive in the next few days, are Worf and the Borg Queen. The Borg Queen, which from the pictures I've seen is probably maybe the only disappointing one. But then again, I mean, Mego has never been the best with female characters. They're more of a male character. I wouldn't say specialist, but they're male characters. It seems that at that scale, male characters work better than female characters, but then again, it's my opinion, and I love those female characters, even they look a bit more kitsch and retro than the male. So that's the two ones that I'm missing. So the thing is, you can't find those in the shops because they were exclusive to Tops. And now that the run has been produced, there won't be any more of those. That's finished. So basically, you may be able to get them on some website doing auctions, but I'm not sure what price they will be. And that's about it. But two things. First of all, you may one thing that I want to point out is that you may notice that it says 26 point of articulation here. Not all of those have the 26 point of articulation, and some of those are using the new Mego body, which doesn't have any elastic band in it, but not all of them have them. So basically you will find that all of the box say 26 point of articulation, but it doesn't mean that the figure actually has them, because some of them are still using the old bodies. That's problem with factories and COVID and delays, and I think they couldn't really work out a way to have everything done in the nick of time for this small production run, because those are really small production. I think about 2,000 each or something like that. The other thing to know about those, and I think we can actually try and see if we notice that here, is that those new bodies are ever so, mind you, maybe not this one, maybe this one isn't a new body, but they look ever so slightly smaller. I don't know if you can actually see, but they do look a bit smaller. But then again, with this one, it could be because this one has boots. Let's see if there is one that doesn't have any extra Mego figure just for you. I mean, this is of course the Captain Xantor from Space 1999, but that should give us, yes, basically you can see that Captain Xantor is ever so slightly taller, I think. Yeah, ever so slightly. That's probably not even I'd say half a centimeter difference. So the bodies are slightly smaller. On some figures it really makes a big difference, but on most figure you will probably not notice. I'm told that it's actually teething problem with the new bodies, because as they were done during COVID, new factories and everything, there were a few things that they still needed to work out, and basically that's why the bodies are not exactly the way they're supposed to be, but I'm told they will be corrected with the next figures that are released in the new bandless bodies. Which bring me to the last thing from that very long video, is that most of those characters, or all of them actually, will be released I think in September in a different form. So they will have a wide release, so the characters will have a wide release in the next wave of figures, but they will have completely different costume. For example, the Benjamin Sisko here will definitely have the grey costume. This Spock here will have the Vulcan poncho look, you know, the black poncho that he had in the first movie. The Planet of the Apes astronaut will have reversed costumes, so Brent will be in rags and Taylor will be in uniform, etc, etc, etc. So it means that for you guys, you will be able to actually get those characters with different costumes. So yay! If you don't want to if you've missed those, you will have at least an opportunity to get them. Anyway, I'm going to play with my toys and I will talk to you again soon. Bye! Don't go away yet. Just as I was finishing the video, basically the last two Tops figures arrived, so I thought I would add them. So little addendum with the last two figures, which are Worf from Star Trek The Next Generation, and to be honest, he is really one of the best they've done. And with one of the best, they've also got the one that may be a hit or miss for some people. I love her, but she's very kitsch, I have to admit that. And it is the Borg Queen. So yeah, as you can see, she's, I mean, we've got one end of the spectrum and you've got the other end here, but I think she's really good fun. And it's very difficult to do a Borg in Mego format anyway. So here you go. That was the last two figures. Now you've seen the whole range of Tops figures. Bye!